Hi folks, today we're looking at a pair of Swiss ankle boots, old school style. The Swiss Army were using ankle boots right from the 19th century up to around the early 1990s when they switched over to a higher leg boot, the KS90. But these boots serve them well for probably 100 years or plus. As we can see, they're a leather construction, they're very heavy. They're one of these types of boots that would need a lot of breaking in, I can tell you. All leather construction. They have a special sort of closing feature here over the tongue, obviously to keep the snow and the stones out. They seem to have a reinforced toe cap. They have, as you can see, the hooks, eyelets for lacing. And on this particular pair, there is a rubber outsole, which I think is stitched to the a leather insole there, or leather midsole. So, as I said, the Swiss were using ankle boots right from the 19th century. I think originally they were brown, and then later they maybe switched over to black. This pair looks as though it's been polished in black. Manufacturers vary. On this pair, it's ELGG, but Bally's another company that's well known for making these boots. Some of them have the stainless steel cleats throughout the lacing system, and others, like this pair, later pair, have D-rings at the bottom. These date from 1984. You have to be a little bit careful with the sizing on the Swiss Army boots. They use a system where they measure the inside the boot rather than the foot size from the heel to the toe, using the underpoint system of measuring. Very strong, very well made, would probably last a very long time, but I think will also take a lot of breaking in. Originally, the Swiss Army boots were using leather outsoles with tricone nails, I think it is, round the edge, obviously for better grip. And they seem to be quite late in moving over to rubber outsoles. It don't seem to be until the late 60s that they moved over to rubber, whereas other armies like the British Army had moved over from 1958 with the DMS sole boot, the Americans even earlier, and other people as well. So we're not in Switzerland today, unfortunately, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit about where I am today. It's a place called Bradgate Park, which is part of the Charnwood Forest area in northern Leicestershire. We can see some deer there roaming free. This park the area dates back sort of 800 years or plus for deer and deer hunting, obviously not today in hunting. There's trees that date back here over 500 years old. We can see in the distance the city of Leicester here. It's about 800 odd acres, and it's open to the public, free. There are 3 strategically located car parks, which are fairly cheap, that cost you sort of £2 to £3, £3 for a day to park the car. So during the summer, very popular area with the people of Leicester to come and picnic and bring the family, etc. This area was owned by the Gray family for 500 plus years, and then it was sold off and bequeathed to the people of Leicester by a local business benefactor in the 1930s. One of the prominent features of it, which you can see from a lot of places in Leicester, is this monument. It's called Old John locally, and the story goes that it was named after one of the servants of the Gray family who died in an accident, a bonfire accident, and they built this monument to him, and it also as a lookout for when they were hunting deer and even when they were using horse racing. As you can see, it looks like a beer mug, an old-fashioned beer mug, the old copper beer mugs. And then on an adjacent hill, there's a war memorial to the Leicestershire Yeomanry, I think it is. So, nice area to visit, some nice walks here. It's also the start of what's called the Leicestershire Round, and the finish, which is a 100-mile walk around Leicestershire, if you have that sort of time. The Grey family, the most famous person of the Grey family was Lady Jane Grey. Who was she? Well, she was Queen of England for 9 days, the 9-day Queen, until she was removed by Mary. She was then imprisoned in the Tower, London, and unfortunately for Lady Jane, it didn't end well, because together with her husband, she was executed in 1554. And she was only 16 or 17 years old at the time. And you can visit the house, or the ruins of the house they built in the park here. It's open to the public on certain dates when they do guided tours. And you can have a walk around the ruins of the house, which were built around 1520. So some activities to do in the park. Some of the geology goes back to the oldest in England, 560 million years. So come along when you get the chance, folks, and take care out there.